But, you know, you'll know if you go down Broadway, it terminates at King Kong Lift. The thing is that's the only way out of there is that lift now, because you're kind of at a new corner of the resort. Okay. Which is fine.
Some people say my voice sounds like a woman's voice. I don't know. I hope it's a good-looking woman. I hope that's not a hazard. I mean, I could take lessons. What am I supposed to do? Is it a hazard? It's not like I'm frightening men out of the men's room or something. There's a woman in here! I mean, this is my voice. Listen to this.
Putting this up?
Yeah, put the bar up.
Yep, they make us wait. Believe it or not, we have to wait all the way to the orange sign up there.
Who's we?
Employees.
This guy chimes in.
Yeah, you guys are okay.
Who's we?
Vail employees. They make us sit in rooms and say, now you do not put up the bar.
Now listen
Show
to
the orange
this.
sign. Feel how crazy this gets.
We're from Alta. They make us use our best judgment.
Oh my gosh, did he just say that? Not exactly showing that good judgment at work. Hey, guess what? It's March 5th, Monday, and you know what that means? It's gonna get so crazy here. So crazy. Well, there are gonna be people everywhere. Monday? Are you kidding me? Oh, Mondays are, yeah. Mondays are like Fridays. Mondays are my Fridays. Fridays are my Mondays. Look, today's show, there's nothing. I've already looked. There's absolutely nothing going on. We've moved to a new day, March 5th. It's the morning. Just tune out now. Yeah, just tune out now. I got nothing. This will be the worst episode you'll ever. We begin today's episode with our friend from Alta, obviously a real high-end place. Once again, let's hear what he had to say. Was that insulting? I'm not sure. I laughed.
Crazy.
He said,
We're from Alta. They make us use our best judgment.
And then later, he felt like it was necessary to say this. Not this.
In the industry between bar use and safety.
I know.
Zero
Is there not?
correlation.
Zero correlation between bar use, the safety bar. Okay.
Safety. Place to put your feet.
Yeah. True.
Now he does
I got
this.
a racer. I got to run.
Go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Speaks for itself, this guy.
Skiing was something that my dad, Jimbo, he loved this resort, Park City. He loved it. He just loved it. He loved the mining and the history and sort of growing up with it as it was sort of waning away. The railroads, the mining. He had all the magazines for railroading and all the books for ghost towns of the West and all these mining books. And his grandfather, Gibson Thornley Berry, was a road engineer. But there's family sort of artifacts of claims that he would have in Tonopah, Nevada. He's rumored to have had a claim here in Park City just by the Jordanelle Reservoir. There's a mine sort of, I don't know, I guess it would be west of the reservoir, across the highway 40 there. You can see it. You can see this entrance on private property. Just digs into the mountain. And so I'm taking this job as a way to wait for Anna to come into this world at 27 weeks, which is 20 minus 7 to go. About 13 weeks left.
Tessa, so?
And I've gone 15.
Did just to let you know, the S1E4, we're planning on being on the backside of Pinecone. Probably not anywhere near the limelight area, but be aware.
10-4, thank you.
Hey, Terry, can you stop for a second? Come back to the tail line? Hey, Terrence, can you hear me? Thank you.
Yeah, so for this light, right, that's it. There's gonna be, I don't know, maybe I'll break it up in 20-year increments. The first 20 irresponsible.
There's
the next 20,
there's a rolling tape, and it makes for the opportunity to to talk, especially when it gets real quiet and lonely out on those lifts, and I cannot bear to waste away all that beauty and all that time. And and then there's a world apparently of misunderstandings out there. I mean, geez, there's people who think I'm a woman. That's huge. But there's nothing I can do about that. You know, we just don't want to see history repeat itself. We hear that a lot, but do people catch themselves and say, ah? I don't care. Here we are, in a place where I see history repeating itself again, and so I am just going to just go back over it all. Technology just is this great thing, and what we've done is we provide the opportunity for me to do it. Leave it to me to, decide to just kind of go with a podcast, for my journal entry for today. But I've brought you along for a reason. And there's people that I hope have tuned out by now, because I don't want this to be something that somebody uses against me or something, or takes my. If I just said my grandfather's name, maybe someone will figure out some way to steal my identity. I mean, look, if you're not a compassionate person, then and you're just here to
go to heaven.
Like I said, if you're here to learn English, that'll work. Do it. Keep going. You're gonna learn some new words today.
I guess so. Yeah.
Look, when we first heard this,
Nothing wrong with that.
nobody knew what the hell all this was. It was just like, how is this the beginning of what the hell is this? I'm playing this for a reason. I guess one, I want...
Dear God, I'm not feeling all right today. I'm not feeling good.
Two, I'm not going to violate copyright because I'm going to comment in a comedic way on the piece itself, and so I'm not in any violation of copyrights. I want to talk specifically about these parts, and you couldn't listen to this for enjoyment, because listen to me. Okay, can you figure out when the next one's going to be? Whoa, how about the next one? How about this one? God, this blew us away. Where are they coming from? God, they're coming in from everywhere.
As soon as you're born, you start dying.
You hearing all that? Rush didn't want to have anyone tell them about timing anymore. We'll tell you when we'll play notes. We'll tell you which notes, when, how, and where. We don't care anymore about producers or people that are going to tell us that we have a record contract or whatever. You're working us. We know We know the truth. We know we're talented. We know we've got the balls to just put out something that is everything that we've ever worked for. We know it. So we're just gonna just fucking do it. We don't even fucking care anymore. We're gonna take the money that you people have given us to write sweet little songs like, what? Fly By Night? You want another Fly By Night? Here's your Fly By Night. Fuck you! Fly By Night away from here. Here's your Fly By Night. They must have been like, okay, because they knew this was going to be the first thing that those fucking pieces of shit at the record company we're gonna hear, and it'd be about right here. They'd be going, "Is this the part where's the singing?" I mean, who knows? Can you imagine what they'd be? Listen to them go. We have no intention of stopping anytime soon. These guys, no, because they just knew that this is it. They're not going to do it any other way than theirs if this is it. This is their way. This ended up being... Listen to it. It's like me, like, grabbing you and making you look at a scenic view. Look at it! I mean, a guitar solo? Now? I haven't even heard from the singer. You got what? And then they just like, oh, no. They knew it. They were like, oh, what's his name is going to be sitting there going, guys, where's the song? And they're like, no, we're brilliant. We're awesome. We're great. We're like Beethoven and Bach and Mozart. We're going to do this entire overture to, this entire album that is going to have 0 hits. 0. They were like intentionally not hits, too. Like, all right, we'll give you a passage to Bangkok. And just lace it with just these drug references. These guys were like, no. Have your record contract, we'll be fine. Oh, but I am rocking. Air drums. Okay, cut. Guys, that's it. We down here at, whatever record company they were with at the time, even Gene Simmons would have been scratching his head like, guys, I cannot back you up on this one. Because this is the biggest musical fuck you in my mind, knowing what the story is. I may be completely wrong. You guys can just call up the guys, because they won't return any of my calls, and ask them. But I think this is like from a documentary or something like that, or something. I'm a fan, and you can hear it. They had their Fly By Night album, and they had that one hit that everyone knows, and it's a great song. We all love it. But then they did Caress of Steel, and that thing was... It's just like, even the most true of Rush fans are like, oh, I don't know, man. I feel like when I listen to that album, I'm like playing with Ouija boards, and I get a contact high, and they admittedly were like, yeah, we were smoking weed. Yeah, why not? That's what you do. That's what we did back then, guys. Well, then came this album, and there was some sort of pressure for them to, guys, you're really, who knows what. But you can see it, you can hear it, that they were fed up with it. And they knew that they were miles ahead of all of these other people out there, but they were being forced into these square holes do songs like, whatever these other guys were doing, like maybe the Police or, the bands that were really big at that time. That Russia's been around so long that it's like, well, what era do you want to, pick? You could see them constantly trying to do the right hairstyle, play the right beat, and let's do a little rap with the roll the bones and stuff. It was like, I felt so embarrassed for them. It's like they were, like this little puppet toy of the marketing world, like, and it was It was like the Elder Scrolls period Kiss went through. Like, I think that was their idea, though. But anyway, is the point made? Have we made the point yet that there comes a time when you just are like, And so here's the thing. I'm in that same spot. Wow, perfect, great. I'm Rush now. Hi. Oh, finally, I'm the fourth member. Hi, Ged. I could just call you Ged. And Al, I love doing that trailer park thing. That was so funny. I'm not even going to talk to Neil because I know he just won't like me. He won't want to talk to me. And I'm sure he doesn't. Although it is my dream that oh, okay, all right, I understand. I have no record contract either. I have nobody who has any interest I have like 2 listeners on my SoundCloud account. I mean, there's just, I can't, it's just the weirdest world these days if you're a musician and you're trying to make your music known. It's worse. You might as well be in multi-level. People will avoid you. They don't want to hear or be forced to sit there in front of you to listen to your latest song. I love it, Kimmy. It's great. The middle part with the backup vocals. Wow. So clever, Kimmy. So clever. Now, so you can't. You can, but even like Taylor Swift needed a little help, and no one's saying what that help was, and I'm not either. I love Taylor Swift. I hope she just keeps going. I love you, Taylor, if you're listening. If you're one listener, thanks, Taylor. I don't have any of that. I got no shot for a radio show and I don't care. I don't want to answer to. I'm stuck, people. I don't want to answer to some sponsor that tells me that I got to say it this way, or some employer that tells me I got to do it this way. And I find that I just have I've just tried. I've tried, but just regular corporate America is getting way too abusive for me. Way too. For anybody. But I just can't believe you people are putting up with it, because all you're doing is digging your own graves. That to let them do the stuff that they do now with those scoring you and no. We're not doing that. Well, it turns out that these days anybody just like Desktop could just go out there and make their own little radio show. They buy the right microphone and they plug it into the right holes on their little box that the guy at Best Buy sold them. I didn't want a podcast. I don't want a podcast or anything like that. But all of a sudden I realized that I had given myself the opportunity, and like I'm doing now at home as I did there, I gave myself the opportunity, was unencumbered, to say whatever the hell that I wanted to. And not have the fear of repercussions, or somebody saying this isn't gonna get published, or the record company will never be able to blah blah. Too bad, too late. I'm already at the very bottom. I'm already too chicken for suicide, so I'm just kind of in that gray area. I'll take you there. We're all gonna, if you're still here, we'll hold hands and we'll walk down to this. We're gonna go to this place together, and we're gonna look at each other, and I'm gonna say, so that's how I got to this spot. Okay. I mean, would Mother Teresa be doing something different at this point? I mean, Mother, maybe not the best choice, because she would be, resting in peace, as she should always, because she did her part. But I bet she just had some kind of compassion that I don't have when people were just downright mean to her. And I just don't know what that's about. I was a middle child. I want things to go well. I know that I was told I would get angry when I get moved, because that makes sense. Why are you moving? Why do we have to move? Why does anything have to be, why? But okay, that's fine. If moving is, we got to get out of the hospital eventually. But the mean part, I don't know, maybe I was like raised in some Disney altruistic world to begin with, that, like we did to my puppy, who thinks that the world is just, sunshines and rainbows out there. But it wasn't long, I think, or at least if my memory serves me, it's hard to tell, but if there's one thing that I do remember, it was being terrorized by mean sisters. I gotta say that. I don't know what else I can tell you. They were just mean all the time. It feels like what proof do I have? A memory? No, I got nothing. The only reason why I have anything is that I don't have any memory of my childhood at all, except for the just downright meanness of my sisters. And the ultimately me getting in trouble for it, the provocation of things that would only put me into a spot where I ended up looking like the person that, did whatever it is that I did, was, being, so that's hard. That was really hard. I do remember as a boy, and I've always felt horrible for it, of acts of hitting, I think in the face, my little sister in the swimming pool, once, and it was horrified. I'm still horrified. That's all I know. I didn't fight in school. I didn't pick fights. I didn't want to be in fights. I got my ass kicked once, just blah, blah, blah. And I thought, because it'd be fun to fight. So let's just try it out. Which brings me to it must be, or it is as if, I can't say because I'll never have. It's as if people think, he's just so nice. He just really just rolls off him, that he can just take it. He can just handle the, abuse that, I guess that people inflict. I'm sure there were some good times in there somewhere, of me trying to be the middle guy. Can't we all get along? There were all, I'm not telling you that it was all, but yeah, if I remember anything, they were super mean to me. We talked a little bit about my dad, and you can tell that I'm just super weepy for him, because the reality is that he passed away. He's gone. He's dead. Now several years. And as those years go by, it's just the reality. I don't know what it is. I didn't expect it. It's not planned. But there are people that were in my life only because of him. He was the glue. And now that he's gone, there's just like, I don't know. You're a complete stranger to me, and it's intrusive to have them in my life, because all of a sudden, because that's my, I'm supposed to tell them all these things about this stranger that I haven't seen for this one sister. I swear, she disappeared in the 80s or something, and there was some story about how she disappeared. We never saw Uncle Doug. Again, couldn't talk about it. We saw him again in the 90s, but Uncle Doug had to, and anyone who talked to Uncle Doug after that was, and you know what? I love my Uncle Doug. He was an awesome, very, very nice, just wonderful guy. He's been yanked from my life. He's one person. My dad adored him too, so I don't feel like he would be one of the people. There are people that my dad did not adore in this world, and they were the first people on this list for me. There's no reason for me to adore him. And he in many cases, told me why they were just such awful people.
Okay, put on the voice.
Said, ew, really? Ugh, God, bye. Because they're just so disgusting.
The barber can give you a hair.
Listen in your zone.
So, where does that leave us? When I was told my son was going to be born, and this is Lucas, in 1996, I got in my car and drove the fuck up there. What else are you going to do? I got there and, actually it might not be for a while. But now comes the time and I'm like, okay, I want to be there. I want to make sure that everything goes well. He's happy and he's, Look, this is a woman that told me, took me aside and said that her brother sexually molested her as a child. That her family has this in her family. But nothing specific. Her brother was the only one specific that she mentioned. But it was to both her and to her sister. And this guy, well into his, years where he should have known better. They're a disgusting family. I showed up because they're disgusting people. But I didn't have no tip. I'm going to make sure my son's born and everything's okay. This is my insurance is paying for this. We were able to handle that, even though there was not going to be a marriage. And I got there, and they were like, "Well, yeah, what? You're not gonna, that's great that you're here, but I don't have anything to do with you." And I'm like, "All right, great. I'll just be here," and I did, and I just lived in that just god awful part of the world, the Tri-Cities area. I'm sorry if you're from there and you're still there. I know people who've come out of there, and they all say the same thing. It's god awful. And I'm just going to tell you that, look, there's better places to live, people. Why don't live somewhere that's better, that's not right on the damn doorstep of a nuclear reactor, which is fine. That's safe. That's lovely. I'm sure that's fine. But why? When there's so many other pretty places. Well, I found one of the pretty places right along the Columbia River, and I had no money. Good Lord, had no money. I didn't have a job. I was having this kid. I can't remember what it was that I was doing, but I had zero money. And I now was in a town that I had no place to. How am I going to get money? I just drove there. I thought this would be something I could, should be there for. That's all I know. And man, did I ever. I just lived out of my car, and there's this park on the side of the Columbia River, and I had to pay $10 a day to live there, but it wasn't enough. I didn't. And I need you to know that my parents wanted nothing to do with this child, this human baby child coming into the world. They wanted nothing to do with him. Okay? Nothing. Good luck with that. That's your problem. You made a mistake. Now you have a human child to deal with. Okay, that's really compassionate of you, family. Great, thanks with that. But that's basically, and my dad, as much as I love him, they started in early on this. Don't you even marry that woman. Don't even go another moment in this person's presence. She is awful. And people, I'm not here to rag and make, but anything. That's not what, she has a head injury, and it's not her fault. She fell off a horse, but she got no filter for being nice to people. was super difficult because I was basically told that there was no reason for me to be there. I'm not gonna ever see this blah blah and all that stuff. I don't find that I don't care. I'm gonna stay here as long as I can. And I did, and I bankrupted myself. He wasn't born for another 2 weeks after that. Silly me thinking I knew how to calculate how long it would take for a baby to be born based on the conception date that I was aware of. But the more and more, we started to understand, and when Angela, her old roommate, stepped forward and said, look, because she didn't have any other reason except for that, look, you need to know what the truth is. This chick is playing you. You're getting worked because she wants a baby. Now she wants checks from you, but she doesn't want you, so she's going to try and pin some kind of a, restraining order, something so that, you just have to send checks and she can just go and just do whatever the hell she wants to. Because she's really pretty much terrified because she knew that I knew that she was a complete nut. Okay, great. I just went home. I ran out of money. I ran out of everything. I don't even know what compelled me to finally just, go back home. But I did. And then the first time that I went to see him, Lucas, it was with my mom. She did finally start to be more cooperative. She was she definitely came around. My dad never did, and his wife never did. And I don't hold it against him. I don't blame him. 4 years later, I get some insurance statements for psychotherapy for my son, who I'm paying child support. You better believe it. Sending all kinds of money up that way, plus the insurance. I'm not complaining ever about that, by the way. No way. I told them, you take this out of my account. I don't want to ever have to send her checks. I want to have a record of you guys getting my money and giving it to her. Because honestly, she is not to be trusted in my mind. Okay, look, you don't have her here to defend herself, and that's that's fine. But you just But what I'm saying is it doesn't necessarily matter, because I've done the math, and it's just from where I'm sitting. I have to make this call. I'm not Mother Teresa, but I'm not going to send her checks every month and trust that she's not going to get squirrely with the whole thing. All right. 4 years later, I get this statement from my insurance company that says that my son is going to psychotherapy. Okay, psychotherapy. Like 4-year-old is going to psychotherapy. What for? You think I'm going to be able to call and ask somebody? No, because this is a person that is doing everything they can to keep this boy out of my life. Won't let me talk to him on the phone. Won't let my mom and I, when we went there, I was starting to tell you, we went there to visit him the first time. Knock on the door. His mom answers. Turns us away. Don't you wish it would just rain? I can't remember all the details. Wash away all that pain. We just came all that way. My mom, my sweet mom, she didn't even... What did she ever do? She's just been nice all along. Here she is, standing there. Hey, we're here to see this baby that we've been supporting. Apparently, I have a responsibility here. Nah. Pound sand, get out of here. No. It happened to me like then I went up. I'd go up on solo trips too, and I'd endure it, but I'd break her down a little bit more, and I'd maybe see her for, I'd take video cameras. I went once, took a video camera and just videotaped her just being she went just bonkers. We went to her house to pick up my son, and he's not there at the time. Here we are. At the time, the agreed time, court had to have I think even someone come in and agree, this is the time, this is the day, here we are. Nope, nobody. Great. So and it was my wife at the time, decided, I guess we'll just go to a movie, because that's all you can do in this town is go to movies. Because there's too many mosquitoes by the beautiful parts, and guess who pulls up into the parking lot with her, questionable boyfriend that's with my 4-year-old, and just has this fit. Rolling. It's in the archives, and I know I've told you I'm going to play these things, and I will, but this obviously is not something that I'm just going to pull out and just play, because it's icky. It's. And so there's this whole scene, and what it ended up happening, and it was this particular visit, is that we found out that the reason why he was having these psychotherapy is because he was being sexually molested by a cousin-type relative, and everything else was redacted. I also had some other accounts of this abuse that happened and somehow came up in a dental visit or something like that. And anyway, some other doctor had, and because I was able to present myself well, and they knew who I was, and they knew who she was, and she does not present herself well at all, they probably were like, yeah, here you go. Here's all of this stuff on this woman that the world has decided it's better to have this woman walking around with a 4-year-old and have her completely pushing me out of her life. The world, the courts, her parents, my family. Who knows what happened to him in his life and what he ended up seeing. Because I would send plane tickets, he would never show up on the plane. I did everything. I went to the courts, and I'm sure people, oh, you didn't fight. Oh man, did I fight it? I mean, just fighting it is what made me look even crazier. And I would go and represent myself in courts and say, hey, here we were. We had this agreement. We made it with this, arbitrator that said on this date we're gonna go, and there we were. We went, and here's, we went pick up my son. He wasn't there. I have this video of her saying, "Oh no, no, you're, nope, you failed to prove contempt of court, case closed," like that. I'm like, what? Oh. All right, okay, well, good. I'll guess I'll just drive back home now. I mean, I would drive up, I would write my own law briefs, study all this stuff, and I would drive up there. I'd file all this stuff. I'd have her served. She was squirrely, so she was not an easy person to serve. All that stuff. Awful, 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 classless people. Also that I could just, hey, all I'm saying, Your Honor, is that, your court has said that I'm with my son on, every other birthday or, every Christmas, 6 weeks in the summer. None of that's happened. None. Zero of that has happened. It was agreed upon. I spent time and money just to come drive here, just to have the arbitration, to agree on this date. I show up on this date, and guess who's not there? I mean, it just was difficult, in the end. Those younger, especially younger years, because when I was finally able to, somehow get him to be in my care, they were the most awkward visits ever. I mean, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they be awkward for you too? Who is this guy? Where are we going? Why is he so nervous? Like, God. Because his mom left where we were, but it was my fault that he had to come because that's where Dad lives, I can't help it, he lives far, far away, honey boy. If he made it, if he managed, and he was so brave, that boy, he has the sweetest soul, and he was such a brave boy, and he would make it. But those first few nights would be like working with like an addict, like a druggie off his drugs, and he would bang on the walls, and his mom would call, like, get the circus going too. Do you miss Mommy? I bet you miss me. Is Daddy giving you your favorite? No. He'd go absolutely bonkers, and she knew that he would. She would intentionally make him, another human being, go bonkers, because she felt like this is, something to do. And meanwhile, I'm like there trying to comfort this kid. It just didn't ever. Cumulatively, by the time he graduated high school, I don't know, 3 months, maybe. Plane tickets, I don't know, 10 grand, 20. The whole thing, I figured it out once in this, because it was easy. I can just pull it up on my check register. It was $160,000 of payments over those years, and they came out of me. They came straight off the top. When I hold Anna and feed her or just comfort her, and that smell of baby, some of you know how intoxicating the smell of baby and puppy can be. And they're so precious. And I knew at the time those moments were just being stolen. All those moments through his whole life. Not just graduation. All of them. Stolen. Legally. Condoned by the Washington courts and everybody else. Even though there were all these threats. Existential. Even though I produced proof and showed the courts, look, this is not working. This kid is not getting a fair shake. Pound pound sand.
I live in the cities and I live on the farms, in abandoned buildings, abandoned barns. You might not know it, but I'm always around. I'm a brown bat hanging upside down.
I remember too, for minors to fly, it was the most frustrating because he had to be. I had to pay what was called an unaccompanied minor fee, and you had to escort him to the gate, and I had to go to the gate, and I always had to put up with the gate agent telling me I could do this online, but I knew for a fact that I couldn't because I knew.
My, you have such pretty hair, it makes me wanna fly in there. I know I better hang here, but instead I might let it go.
I do appreciate it. There was people, I never. There were some desperate scenes there sometimes, to get him on the plane. I never, ever missed putting him on a plane, ever. Because she's the kind of person that would call the police and, do that Amber Alert thing. It's just mean. And make sure your employer finds out that you're this awful kidnapper person that took your, no, I just, I missed the flight and I didn't put him on the, oh, really? Well, here at XYZ, we don't hire kidnapper child molesters. That's what this woman was out to just see me just destroyed. Woman scorn.
I fly around eating bugs all night, and my favorite bedroom's full of stalactites. I'm calling you to join my flight, but you can't hear me, I wonder why. In the sightless night I see with my ears, and I feel your tensions, I feel your fears, but I won't touch you when you're scared of me.
We missed it. We missed a lot of events, as a matter of fact.
Reluctant.
None of that was ever lived up to by his mother, who cares so much about him, apparently. To have another person, a father in his life, another human being on this planet. They wouldn't put him on the plane.
I live in the cities and I live on the farms, in abandoned buildings, abandoned barns. You might not know it, but I'm always around. I'm brown back hanging upside down.
I haven't heard from him. He hasn't talked. But he was super mad that I didn't go to his high school graduation. my only purpose on this earth is to make sure you have a good time, is that everything goes well for you. That's it. I have not abused him. I haven't yelled at
So
him.
what's the story on that red flag? Is that supposed to confuse people?
I know who I am now. I know what I'm about. I know I'm honest. I know I don't hurt people. I record myself to make sure. I don't do that to babies or other people. It's not in my lifestyle choice. It just doesn't seem like the right choice to make when I get up in the day. Like,
Oh my gosh. Bare hand. Yeah. Yeah! Sky Coaster!
I'm not gonna send a son. I'm not gonna. I know I have an agreement with him. I know he can take me to court, but the courts have already shown him that they don't care. I've got this agreement with him that nothing. She got involved in some church cults, those weird, freaky church cults that they had to run screaming from. She married some guy that I think was in some weird smiling Jesus church cult. She had to run screaming from that my son was talking about at this funeral. Like, you know, one of his last experiences with this woman is running for his life.
You can't resist.
You know, dads,
You think you want to just tuck it and put the pedal to the metal, but some of those turns you feel like you're going to be pulling way too many G's.
I don't know, all they're really good for is the money, right? That's really all they're good for is a check. Alright, so people are like, oh, I've seen you in this fancy car. I've seen you have fancy cars. I've seen you on that. Do you know what that fancy car is?
Oh, yeah.
That's my only shot. That's my only shot at having any income, of having any money. If all of a sudden I lose my job or anything, that's the only way I'm able to do it, is to sort of sock money away in things that I can hawk and sell. Can't you see what I mean about that? Because for the last 20 some odd years, it got further and further and further behind, and I just have not been able to keep up. And now I'm at the point where I just don't see really any point.
You can feel the back sort of pushing you over the hills, and in the back you get whiplash. And then they've done, and so that kind of was the first thing they built, and that was, Lagoon, that was their thing. My dad was just a little working for the radio stations and would bring in bands like the Rolling Stones and the Doors.
That I tried, to say things that otherwise I just can't say. I just can't muster. It breaks my heart so much to see these human beings be brought up in a life that I could have been there and made it better. I know I could have been. I know I could have been a better person. And even when I was there, I could have done better. And I failed in it. I'm sorry. And I know you know I'm sorry. I know you know I'm sorry. But I failed you.
Or did I do those tracks?
And I don't know what kind of hell you had to live through because of that. I fought for you, though, when you didn't care, when I was there fighting for you. And that fight eventually, unfortunately, is what was brought upon my, demise. And gave people the ammunition to say, look at this guy jumping up and down. What's he even jumping up and down about? Jeez. God, he's just lost his marbles, this one. Rush was right, and I was right about Rush. And all the people that told me that Rush was what's that band? You people were wrong. The people that told me about Kiss. You know, what's that band? They're still together even. God. Wrong, those people. The Mormons. All these years of growing up being told that I will never reach the heights that these people are going to reach. Never. These kids in school, growing up with them, with their little church right on the campus of the school, it's the worst. Let me tell you what. All these years you're just led to believe, I'm going to hell for sure. Oh, there's no hell, they tell you. Just a place where you go. That's what. It's not hell though, but it's not where I'm going. I'm going to get my own planet someday. No, ta-da-ta-da. This is, yeah, they'll tell you, oh, we don't really believe. Yeah, you do, because you call yourself a Mormon. That's what they believe. It's in your stuff. I don't, no, you people were wrong. You're anything but right. Anything but true. Ruining people's lives. Telling of them that they are worse. They're lesser. That they're bad humans because of the things that they do, like drink coffee, drink beer. My parents smoked cigarettes, so they're bad people. They're bad, broken people. That's what I was raised with here in Utah, is an entire culture that's just super mean to people that aren't of their... And they don't say it. Oh, we're not super mean, we're super nice. Look at us, we're all around the world giving people relief and aid, and I'm sure you are, and that's great. But you're also converting people with skin that's not white. And your religion believes, oh boy, people, get ready for it. Yeah, their religion believes that colored skin is a curse. God, what's wrong with this world? What if all religions are wrong? Huh? What about that then? Then all that fighting, all that, hey, you guys, End of the show. Well, we did make it through. You just can't have the light without the dark. We find that when we go to Disneyland. First thing, oh my gosh, this ride is super dark. But then, it's a beautiful, lovely time. I want to apologize because some of you think I'm not going to address some of the other sides, but I will. I hear you other sides, and we'll talk about it. And I won't ever get that mad again. Daddy's happy again. Daddy's baby's home, sleeping right now. Father's Day is come and gone.